Most people today use some kind of a mobile computing device for both personal and business use. And while these devices share a lot of commonalities, they also have some differences in terms of how we troubleshoot them. Take, for instance, the issue of a mobile device and problems with power. For example, imagine that we've got a laptop computer whose battery no longer charges fully, and when it does charge at all, it doesn't retain the charge. That's an easy fix. We can replace the battery in a laptop. But it's not such an easy fix with a modern smartphone, because most of them won't allow the batteries to be replaced. In other words, you'd have to replace the entire device. Network connectivity can also be an issue with mobile device computing. For example, not being able to send multimedia along with an SMS text message on a smartphone. Usually that just means the data part of the phone is turned off, so you're not using your data plan. But there are other issues we'll cover as well. And then there are performance problems that could be related to updates being applied to a machine, or it could be a network-related performance issue. When it comes to mobile device power, we're really talking about batteries. And sometimes you could have a faulty battery. Either it's faulty right out of the gate on a new device, or over time, it just doesn't retain its charge properly. Now, often the symptom that indicates that this is happening is the fact that it's just not charging correctly. Now, if you have a mobile device that's not charging at all, it could be the power cable, or in the case of a small mobile device like a smartphone, it might be a USB cable problem. So swap it out with one that's known to work to see if indeed that's the case. And in some more extreme cases, you might have overheating issues that actually cause the battery in a mobile device to heat up, to be excessively warm, maybe even smoke, or in the worst possible case scenario, catch on fire. Then there are display issues that we have to think about, because with mobile devices, more often than not, we've got some kind of a touch screen. So then we might end up with some problems related to flickering, and this is especially prevalent when you've dropped a mobile device. Or there could be a lack of response when you issue commands on the screen. That could even be related back to performance. If the machine is busy applying updates, it might not be able to respond as quickly as it normally does to your screen commands. Dimming is another issue, whereby many modern mobile devices have adaptive brightness settings. So it gauges the light in the room to determine how bright the screen will be to help you see it. So we can turn those options off on mobile devices. Then there are issues like pointer drift, where mysteriously the mouse cursor, for example on a laptop, might move across the screen all by itself, even though you're not moving it. So what does that mean? It usually means you need to update the driver, or you could even just uninstall the current driver for the mouse or the touchpad and then reboot the system. Then there are issues with external displays not working. That could come in the form of plugging in an external video monitor to a laptop and perhaps not getting it to work because it's not been configured to work with dual monitors in the operating system. Or it could be a problem with the smartphone being unable to cast to a television, and that could be due to network connectivity problems. Pictured on the screen, we see some mouse options in the Windows 10 operating system. And one of the things that you'll see here is we have an option to display pointer trails. Now when you do that, it almost looks like you've got mouse ghost cursors. And usually the problem is simply solved by coming here and unchecking that checkbox. Then we've got network issues that could be a problem, such as intermittent Wi-Fi. Now this can be a problem if you stray too far away from the wireless access point. The signal strength degrades over distance. But at the same time, if you've got a wireless network that supports both 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, try to use the 5 gigahertz connection. It'll show up as another wireless network that you can connect to. Then we might have Bluetooth issues. Usually Bluetooth issues are related to pairing. Sometimes you won't be able to pair with a Bluetooth device if it's already paired with something else. So imagine we've got a Bluetooth speaker and someone's already connected to it from their smartphone playing music. Well, if they haven't disconnected fully, then you might not be able to make a connection to it with your phone. In the same way, we have to think about problems on mobile devices like smartphones or tablets that support 3 and 4G data network connectivity. Turning on the data on your smartphone allows you to access the internet without using Wi-Fi. In the case of GPS, or the Global Positioning System, not functioning correctly, that can come in a couple of forms. First of all, the option has to be enabled in your mobile device operating system. And often you'll have some settings as to how that works. So we'll see that in a moment. But for now, we want to make sure that GPS is turned on our mobile device And even within a specific app that might need the permissions to use our location, we want to make sure that that's enabled for that app. So here what we're seeing on the screen are some Android GPS settings. Notice that high accuracy is turned on. Now what this means is that it's going to use GPS satellites for determining your location along with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or mobile networks. Otherwise, you have other options like battery saving mode to use only Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and mobile networks to determine your location, but not satellites through GPS. Or use GPS to determine location. You can tell it to do that only as well. So depending on how that's configured could have an impact on how precise your locationing is. And if you're trying to navigate through a city, you might want to make sure that you've got some GPS satellite connectivity here.